You're listening to Golden River Underground, Session 3. This is a Delta Green campaign, which is a heavily modified adaptation of Music from a Darkened Room by Dennis Detweiler. Check out Table Talk 2.5, where we're joined by a special guest. Otherwise, enjoy the show.
Welcome back. Welcome to Session 3 of Golden River Underground, our Delta Green campaign. At the beginning of the last episode, we didn't start with a session summary. I guess I was just thinking that we had gotten off to a sufficiently slow start that it wasn't necessary at the time, but we should go ahead and do that now. So, Jack or Shepard, who wants to kick that off?
I'll do it. Unlike Jack, I actually listened to the last session. No, but you want me to just summarize last session?
No, go ahead and give us everything so far.
Okay, so our story takes place in Golden River, South Dakota in the year 1995. Golden River is not a real place. Listen to Session 0 if you want to hear us, if you want to hear us build that town. So our two characters, played by myself and Jack, are Simon Redding, a detective, and Tim Bars, an engineer, respectively. We were playing golf when nearby, in a house on Spooner Ave, we heard the sound of a breaking window. Excuse me, I keep burping.
Dude, you're having issues.
Yeah,
You're out of control.
Have you talked to anybody about your Coke Zero addiction?
That's Dr. Pepper Zero, thank you.
Dr. Pepper Zero, okay.
Mm-hmm. But
no judgment then.
yeah, totally fine. We heard the sound of a breaking window. We ran over to it and saw a man who was actually Tim's boss, Arthur Donnelly, jumping out of a second-story window, noose around neck. He ended up dying, and Simon thought nothing of it and just kind of wiped his hands of it, went back to his golf game. Tim Bars was a little more disturbed, but we moved on. Simon ended up getting assigned to the case and began the investigation, and then Tim ended up joining him as well.
After doing some very illegal investigating on his own.
Right, exactly. So Tim ended up, before getting, before getting semi-officially partnered with Simon, he went to the office of Arthur, his boss, and was kind of pawing through some of the stuff that was in the office, and a lot of it was just like travel vouchers and stuff for different trips he had taken, and most importantly, he found a key to a unit of some kind. Unit 2230, I believe it was.
Yep.
But that was the only interesting thing I think you found.
Yeah, there was the key, and then in terms of information, or just like sort of implied information, I was able to determine that he took a lot of weird leaves of absence that weren't consistent with any kind of like medical issues he was having, but he did frequently come back injured, and so it painted a picture of him doing weird stuff in his off time that typically got him hurt and that he seemed to want to hide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there were things like forged doctor's notes kind of stuff to get medication, stuff like that. Meanwhile, Simon was making his like initial report of things that he had found just data-wise, like what was in the system for this Arthur character, places of residence, his previous marriage to a woman named Sarah, things like that. So, Session 2, we went to his apartment, Arthur's apartment, and found that he was a bit of a... he had a lot of interesting stuff in his apartment, so it was super secured. We had his keys, so it wasn't that hard to get into, but had like security camera and a bunch of locks. Inside, he had a bunch of suspicious equipment, like coveralls with different names on them that all fit him for different businesses, like being an electrician or something like that. That would allow him to kind of go into a place under false pretenses. He had a bunch of unregistered firearms. He had a bunch of books about subjects such as infiltration, surveillance, that kind of thing. So all odd, but nothing really like concrete that we could hang our hat on. Just like this kind of head scratch of what is this guy up to? We saw the security footage of him going into his apartment and then leaving on the night before and then the morning of his suicide. And nothing seemed out of place or weird with that. So, whatever. We then went over to the place on Spooner Ave where he killed himself. And we later discovered that he is actually the new owner of the place as of like the last couple months. Mm-hmm. There were some signs of things that were weird that Simon mostly ignored. Simon went upstairs to the room where Arthur had defenestrated himself. And there didn't seem to be anything interesting, except there's a rocking chair in there, and there's some like DIY home repair stuff. The rocking chair started rocking at one point, and then when I tried to put it on its side to stop it from rocking, it felt heavy, like there was someone sitting in it, and then there were footsteps walking away from it a few seconds later. I chalked that up to just it being, a house with some personality to it, and thought nothing of it. Meanwhile, Tim was downstairs and was looking around. There were a few scant pieces of furniture that had like sheets over it, but it was mostly an empty house. Went into the garage, I believe, or the basement perhaps. I can't remember. Garage, where there was an armoire, like a really nice oak armoire, and this end table. The end table had some interesting decoration to it, depicting a tall man with a featureless face leading a dance of normal people as like an inlay on this table. Tim was able to open this thing and found 3 things inside it, all strapped to the bottom with rotting leather straps. There was a journal, and then a bronze knife and bowl that looked kind of like ceremonial in nature, and the bowl had blood in it, old blood.
No, we don't know it was blood. It might be dirt.
Well, no, I knew it was blood, or Simon knew it was blood.
Right, yeah.
So I took those, I bagged them for evidence, brought them to the station, and I made copies of the journal, though neither of us have read it yet. And, I forgot, before we did any of this, we went to the coroner to talk to him, and we got his keys, and we were supposed to go back that day to get the autopsy results and didn't.
Yep.
So just something to remember there. Tim went to the library to look up some names that we found. He found in his initial glance at the journal. It was the owner of the journal and the person who had originally lived in the house. It was a woman by the name of
Isabel Wheeler.
Who had died back in the 50s.
Yeah, we kind of learned her life story.
Yeah, so Jack's character, Tim, found a little bit about her life story when he was reading through the newspapers that pertained to her. But we'll discuss that a little bit as we read the journal, so it's probably not worth it going over it here.
Yep.
And then I don't think my character did anything else of note. So that's pretty much where we left off. We went to bed, and now we're waking up on, I believe it's Tuesday, October 3rd, 1995.
Sounds right.
That's correct.
And that's where we enter the story for today's session.
And just worth noting, and this should be obvious to people who have been listening, but so far we have not actually, we're not in Delta Green yet. We still don't know anything.
So, Jack, you should really read the timeline in the Handler's Guide. I think it would help you with some terminology with Delta Green as well.
Sure. But my point is, we're not agents yet.
No, we're just 2 guys.
We're just investigating. Just 2 guys, and we're having a good time.
Just 2 BFFs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although I don't think BFF was a thing.
They were roommates.
In 1995. Mm-hmm. Just 2 chums, I think they would have said in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
I hope we'll be the best of chums.
The best of chums.
Archibald. So, it is the morning of Tuesday, October 3rd, 1995. Jack, let's start with you.
Okay. So, the main things that I'm looking at right now, I've gotten all of my information from the library. I'm going to be waking up, and I'm going to be I really want to read that journal. So, my first priority is going to be getting in touch with Simon, because he has it, and he has, at least we discussed making copies. Because what I want to do, I went to the library. I was able to dig up some good history on Isabel, but I wasn't able to really target anything else. But if we read the journal, that can give us like sort of a jumping off point to get more information. We just need to know what to look for. So,
Tim may recall that we agreed to meet at the precinct at 9.
yep. So I'm waking up, but there's nothing for me to do yet. And how confident am I that like Simon is even going to wake up on time?
I mean, he normally does.
Is he not like super hungover on all of his Jameson?
Yeah, I don't know what you would think about that, because the only times when you schedule times to meet him would be golf, and he does not miss golf.
Okay. Then I guess I set my alarm so I can wake up at, just early enough to make it to the precinct at 9, and I'm going to head that way.
Okay. So before your alarm goes off, actually, your phone rings.
Ooh. Okay, I'll pick it up. Hey, what?
And it's about 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And you hear a voice that you recognize from work on the other end of the phone. She says, "Hey, Tim, this is Maggie. Are you going to be in the office today?"
I might be later. I'll be in late if I'm in at all. I'm helping the investigation with what happened with Arthur, so it's going to be kind of dependent on that.
Okay. So, I'm sorry to sort of spring this on you. I'm taking over for Arthur temporarily while we find a more permanent replacement, but I know a lot of people went home yesterday. I think that's good, but we do have a lot of work to do, and so, either you're spending PTO at this point, or, well, you said you're working with the police, so they'll need to provide us with some kind of documentation.
Got him.
Damn. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll follow up with them, and if it's necessary, I'll take time off for this.
Okay, and I'm so sorry for being indelicate, but that is company policy.
Yeah, that's I get it.
And the report that you were working on before for Arthur, you were doing that comparative radar study.
Mm-hmm.
We do need to get that out the door, ideally by Monday.
Okay. Yep. I'll either find time to work on it, or I'll at least, if it looks like this is going to take a while, pass off what I have to somebody so that they can get it done.
Okay, if you think that'll...
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye. And she hangs up.
Jack swears profusely.
You're Jack.
Or,
What does Tim do?
Tim is not happy about this. He's like, oh, geez, this is gonna be a problem. But I can't just walk away from this. I gotta, I will figure something out, but I can't just not investigate what happened to Arthur.
Which is weird, because you had no connection to him before.
Well,
but
that's the weird thing, though. Is like, this guy just killed himself. I know nothing about him, and I feel like I owe it to the guy. It seems like after working with him for as long as I did, the fact that I'm only now, after he's dead, realizing that I knew nothing about him is distressing. And I want
wait
to know...
until Tim realizes that he doesn't know anything about almost everyone who kills themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's gonna be very busy after this.
But it feels like I should have known about this guy, you know? So, just for like my sanity, I gotta get to the bottom of who this guy was and why he offed himself.
I see.
Okay. Yeah, and at this point your alarm is going off.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's time for me to head out. So,
yeah.
I'll
So you look out the window. It's been kind of rainy the past few days. Today it is clear, but it's one of those clear, cold, gray days.
Okay. I guess I'll take my bike.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not too far from your place to the police station. You just have to bike north a ways, and you're there in 15 minutes.
Okay.
So as you pull up outside, the station it's a fairly new, somewhat unimposing building. It's close to the Riverfront Mall. you've been here a couple of times before. Normally, like you've never been arrested or anything, but you've like picked Simon up before. But looking around, it doesn't look that busy. It's got a small parking lot outside, and it's a mix of like official and personal vehicles. What do you do? Do you wait outside or do you walk in?
Considering the weather, I guess I'll walk in.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a place for you. There's a little bike rack. And so you put your bike there, and then you pull the door open and walk inside.
Okay.
So the first thing you encounter is there's like a front desk that it looks like you have to go through to get anywhere else in the building. Is Simon there?
What time did
Or I
he
guess
show up?
let's back up. We'll pause Jack at the station. So you were scheduled for a 9 o'clock meeting. Let's take it from Simon waking up.
Yeah, so Simon wakes up. He fell asleep in his lazy boy, watching the sitcoms of 1995.
Watching America's Funniest Home Videos.
Sure. And I don't know if that was out yet in 95. Another thing to
I don't
check.
know.
But wakes up. His alarm is going off in his bedroom, but it's such a small place that, the sound carries to the lazy boy. And it's time to get up. And, he feels fine. He's, he grabs a beer, then, goes about his morning routine. And then, pretty quickly he's out the door. And, he's biking over to the station as well. So, yeah, he'll show up like, 8:58.
Oh, okay. So there's a bit of a gap then between us showing up.
Yeah. He said 9, and he meant it.
Okay.
All right. When did Tim show up?
I guess if I got woken up by the call at 8-ish, and then it's like a 15-minute-ish bike ride, I would probably show up at like 8:45 or something.
Okay.
Between getting ready and...
Yeah, so the cop sitting behind the desk in the lobby of the station looks at you and says, good morning, what can I do for you?
Hey, I'm waiting for Simon Redding.
And he looks down at his desk and looks up and says, I don't know if Detective Redding is here yet.
That's fine. He'll be here soon.
And he says, you're welcome to wait here in the lobby. And he points over at like a table that has a couple of, what are those things called? It's like a...
Donuts.
No.
Highlights
That's
magazines.
what I was struggling with. Yeah, it's a stack of Highlights magazines. And it's
you
one
do
of
spot the
those...
difference game.
Yep.
It's not a coffee pot. It's like an urn of coffee that you put out for like a conference or something.
Oh, like a
Yeah,
pitcher
one of the
of
big
coffee.
coffee dispenser things.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, and they have one that's regular and one that's decaf. Mm-hmm. And there are a couple of chairs over there, and he says you're welcome to wait over there until he shows up. Is he expecting you?
Yeah, I think. Oh, good. I'm not human until I've had my coffee in the morning.
Great.
He laughs nervously and fingers a silver cross he's wearing around his neck.
Yeah.
He probably also goes to Two Kings of King's Vineyard.
Yeah, there have been a
Kings of
lot of
King's
sermons
Harvest.
recently about like vampirism.
Yeah. No, I'll
Demons and
go.
gargoyles.
I'll go sit down, pour myself some coffee, and kind of kick my feet up, looking at my watch.
Okay. Yeah, so in the 13 or so minutes that elapse between you starting your coffee and Simon showing up, how many cups would you say that you get through?
12, 13.
I'm like shaking by the time he shows up.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Pooping your pants.
And we don't know yet that all that styrofoam is like going into your body. Mm-hmm. Because it's 1995.
Forever chemicals.
Yeah, it's made of
Right.
BPA.
Yeah, right. So, listeners, if you could imagine a sort of like house style animation that shows the microplastics getting washed through the digestive tract of Tim.
Yeah, creating a layer of styrofoam around his inner stomach lining.
That may come back later. That's why I bring it up.
When we're in the middle of a stressful situation, I'm just going to have like a heart attack and die.
Right. Ultimately, this campaign is going to become a medical drama.
Good. Can't wait.
Sweet. Another
yeah.
subject that we know very little about.
Which will be just that much more fun to deal. I'll have just like a medical phrase generator pulled up.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you get through your 6 or 7 cups of coffee, and Simon walks in.
I give a curt half nod to the dude behind the desk, and I look over at Tim, who's in the middle of pooping his pants, and say, "Tim, let's go."
All right, man. Let's get a move on.
We're gonna go hop in my '89 Buick police mobile and head over to the coroner's because we were supposed to see him yesterday and we didn't.
Okay.
I wonder what Elmer's
Yeah,
up to.
The corner is not far from here. Where did we say that was?
I don't remember.
Yeah, same.
Somewhere
I think-
nearby. Who cares?
I think we said it was close to the police department. Yeah,
It would
so
make sense for
it's
it
a
to be
couple of
close,
minutes, and you're there. You see Elmer's car and a few others in the parking lot, so you get out of the car, walk in, and
Elmer, where you at?
head down the hall to his office. He is in there, and he is situated such that you can see his monitor from like as soon as you walk into his office, and it looks like he's playing Minesweeper, which I assume existed in 1995.
Probably. Hey, put that away, Elmer. It's time to work.
And he will wordlessly shrug and stand up and look at you.
Hey, meant to come
Hey, guys.
yesterday, and then I just forgot, so here I am.
Oh yeah, well that's just as well because I didn't I was off to kind of a slow start yesterday. It's a long story,
Oh, okay.
but I did take a look at that dead guy.
Well, that was the thing that I wanted to hear about.
Fantastic.
So go ahead and
Yeah.
tell me all about it.
Yeah. You know what? Why don't you take a seat?
Sure.
Okay.
And I
So
sit
he
on his
gestures.
lap.
There's only one chair in front of his desk.
Okay.
You know what? I'll just stand.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just go on. It's fine.
Well, I'll sit down if that's all right.
Please go ahead. Now, why don't you tell us all about this autopsy?
Yeah. So as you know, and he flips through some papers on his desk. He says, "Mr. Arthur Donnelly is dead,
Right.
confirmed via autopsy."
I was there.
So, yeah, it's apparent. It's apparent that he hung himself.
You mean hanged?
No,
Oh. So
I
you're
mean
saying
that
he
too,
has
that
a
too maybe.
massive wiener?
Well, he winks at you. Yeah. So he hanged himself,
Right.
and that snapped his deck, and he died instantly.
Okay.
Cool.
Which, all things considered, is not a terrible way to go.
Sure.
Now, if this had some kind of sexual component to it, that's usually not the desirable outcome.
Right. Yeah, Tim, you were talking to me about this one time.
Yeah, Tim's really into like what autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, pretend you're not sure.
Yeah. What's it called again? Clopping? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, toxicology came back negative. He didn't have any of the drugs I was looking for in his system, which seems weird, because if I was feeling pretty down, I think I would try some stuff before I just went straight to hanging myself.
Like what? What would you try?
Right? Like, I mean, you're a detective, right? That's pretty weird.
Depends on what you mean. What do you mean? What would you try?
Heroin,
Oh wow. Okay.
You know where to get heroin.
right? I mean,
Don't we all?
Sure.
seems like the people who try it always are really serious about doing more.
I mean, yeah, no doubt about that.
They must like it.
Sure.
I don't know.
Hey, before we left yesterday, you sounded like you wanted to point at something in particular. It's something to the effect of, hey, maybe you're already tracking, or hey, maybe you're looking for, and then you kind of trailed off and said, well, I'll tell you later.
Oh, well, were you?
I'm curious to find out. So why don't you tell me what it was?
Oh, and he flips through his notes. Like, what could I have meant by that?
It beats me.
Yesterday was just a weird day.
Sure.
What made it weird? What other than this happened that had you so off kilter?
Well, you know Shamrocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I ate a bunch of those $3 cheeseburgers the day before.
Right.
Like a lot.
Like how many?
2.
That is a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a little out of sorts yesterday.
Was that it?
Incredible.
All right,
Yeah.
Elmer. I really appreciate the hard work. Good job.
Yeah. So, I know.
Okay.
It was, whenever a body is brought in to the morgue here, they, like the uniforms always put the person's name, if they can get it off of ID, and then they put the address that the body was found at.
Right.
And so, and sometimes, like, if we don't know the person's name, like, we just refer to them by the address for a while. Well, I've been doing this for a long time, and this is not the first time I'd seen that address.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, apparently like 1 billion people died at that house.
I don't know if it's that many, but
It's close.
Maybe half a dozen.
Sure. Yeah.
Some of those were before my time. My point is just that's unusual.
Yeah, I agree. No, I noticed that. I was looking through some records yesterday. Saw the same thing.
Right. So and I'm, as I said, not a detective, but I think I could have been one if I wanted to, if I hadn't gone into kind of the corner field.
Sure, no doubt.
And I'm still considering something of a lateral transfer, to be honest with you.
Go
And actually,
for
I was
it.
wondering if I could talk to you about that.
Sure, hit me.
So I'm working up this theory, because I think, given that so many people have died in there, have you looked into if someone is like living in the walls?
A chill runs down my spine. That's a more interesting point than I think most anyone else could possibly give you credit for.
You know what I mean? Because they could just stay very still during the daytime, and then at night they could crawl out and trick people into killing themselves hours later or something.
Yeah.
Tim
Definitely.
is nodding as this is being said.
I have my notebook out. I'm writing that down. I go, that could be a really
And
good lead.
I have a lot of other ideas. So
Why don't you fax me those ideas?
yeah. What's a good fax number?
I give him the office fax number.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Well, I mean, if this pans out, I would love to consult. Even outside of my official capacity as a coroner.
No doubt. No doubt.
Because that aspect of this, I think, is pretty open and shut. He's we're pretty certain he's dead, and that's really my main thing, is to confirm that.
You're pretty sure.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is really great stuff, Elmer. Just like I said, fax me those ideas. I'll check in with you later if something comes up.
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, Tim, let's bounce.
Yep. You got copies of the journal?
Yeah, somewhere. I can't remember.
Okay. I think that's what I want to do right now, is start flipping through that thing.
What I was thinking was we'll go check out the storage place first.
Yep, actually, that's a good point. Okay, so we got to figure out where this actually is.
There's probably only like one
There can't be that
self-storage
many.
place in this town.
Yeah.
And I've lived here my whole life, so I probably know where it is. Mm-hmm. We should go stand in the parking lot and rack our brains of where the self-storage place might be.
Simon Redding looks at Tim Bars and says, "Take me to the storage place."
You got it.
I'm the one with the car, so why don't I take us to the storage place?
I'm trying to make a Jack Reacher joke.
I don't know what
I haven't seen that film in a long time.
Wow. You know what? Fuck you guys.
Okay, cool.
We're done with this
Oh,
section.
shit.
Yeah, session's over. Both of your characters die.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a couple of storage facilities here, either in Golden River or near it, but only one has enough units that you think there would be a a 2230, and that is Golden River Store It.
Golden River Store It. Okay.
Yeah.
What
So
part
it's-
has hyphenated? River Store?
It's Golden hyphen River.
Got it.
And then Store It are separate. And you don't know why, because Golden River is not normally hyphenated.
Yeah, it's weird. They're probably just trying to distinguish themselves. Or it helps with alphabetical ordering because the hyphen comes before the space or something like that.
It could be any number of things. And frankly, I think that's the angle the rest of this session should take, is determining why.
Why administratively they would have done that.
So from having driven past it before, that this is the kind of place where the units are arranged in rows. Like it's an outdoor facility. It's one level, and you can drive between the rows of storage units. Some of them are bigger. Some of them are even climate controlled.
Wow.
Okay.
And it's like a garage door with a padlock for each one.
All right. So if we head in, we should be able to identify Unit 2230 pretty quickly, right?
Is there a gate? Like, do we have to check in?
There is a gate and a front office. When you pull up, there's a small parking lot with just the one car. And that is outside of the gate. The lights are on. It looks like somebody's in the office right now.
So a lot of times with these storage places, the key to your storage container also unlocks like the gate.
This gate has a keypad.
Oh. Well, it's the 90s. Did they even have those back then?
Yes, no, it's a keypad, but it doesn't have.
It's a rotary keypad.
It has Roman numerals on it.
Good.
Right.
It's one of those situations where like there's a gate, but you can just walk around it.
I mean, you think you could walk around it, but you definitely can't drive underneath it. You'd have to get the car through. You would have to get that gate
Well,
out.
I mean, you're a police officer.
Yeah, we don't need to drive
Or
it.
you're a detective, rather. Just go talk to him and have him open the gate.
Oh, I'm a policeman officer. Yeah, I'll just go talk to him, and I've got a key in one hand, and I've got my badge in the other,
Okay.
and a gun in my third hand.
Yeah, so you
Listen
rap
here,
on the
boy.
glass door with the butt of your gun. And a man opens it up. He is a shorter guy, balding, very overweight.
Danny DeVito
and
type.
He's got a cheeseburger in his hand with a wrapping that you recognize as being from O'Shamrocks.
Oh man, that's really popular these
But
days.
you also know
going
that
around.
O'Shamrocks doesn't open until 10 o'clock, so this is not from today.
Right, brought it in from yesterday.
And
But I didn't see him last night, so that means it's probably 2 days old.
you're not sure. But he sees you. He sees the gun in your hand that I assume you're pointing at him.
Right, I'm waving wildly. I'm like pointing. I'm pointing over at the yard, then I point back at him.
And he says, "You looking to get a unit?"
No, Simon Redding, Golden River PD. We're investigating the.
Oh,
death of-
nice to meet you. And he
Shakes my gun.
wipes a greasy hand off on his jeans and then extends it to you.
I shake it, and then I say, "Yeah, we're investigating the death of someone who had a unit here, and we're trying to look through effects."
You think
I
there's
hold
a
up the
dead
key.
body in one of my units?
Nope.
Because I'll tell you, they ain't all climate controlled.
Nope. We know where the body is. That's not the problem. Just want to get in and see this guy's stuff.
All right. I'd ask you for a warrant or something, but I don't really know how that works. So, you said you already got the key?
Got the key right here.
All right. Let me. If I just open the gate, are you gonna go away and that's it?
Yeah, I won't bother you after that.
Well, that sounds just fine. And then he pushes a button and the gate pops open.
What a swell guy.
Sweet.
Oh, hold on. Do you have a badge or something?
Yeah, that's what I was holding up when I walked up.
I thought that was a gun.
It's both. It's inscribed on the side.
Have a nice day, officer.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. Hey,
Yeah. You're
like
only
a-
going in that one unit, right?
that's the plan.
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't go in 2231.
Bye.
That's where all the bodies are. All right, thank you. And then I hop back in the car and go on in.
Okay.
As we're driving up, Tim is like, "Hey, man, is there any way I could get some like documentation from you or from the precinct or something? Like I got a call this morning. My boss wants me to like get back to work.
To show up to work. Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Well, I'm sorry. That's adult life for you.
Well, okay, so
I know you like living with the college kids, but adults have to work.
Yeah. Okay. Because if I could get some kind of official, I'm attached to this case and that's what I'm doing now thing, that would really help me out.
Yeah, I can try.
Okay.
But no promises.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, so I'm driving through. I assume it's relatively easy to navigate, and I want to find the unit.
So the road that you're going down is oriented perpendicularly to the rows of storage lockers, and each row, at the head of each row, there's a sign that indicates which units are in that row. So you drive a little ways, you see the one that you think includes unit 2230. It's actually at the end of the row. So you take a turn and you drive all the way down to the end. This is one of the bigger climate-controlled units.
Sweet.
And like all in all, the place seems pretty clean. Things are freshly painted. There's no trash or anything like that. Like it seems like a pretty reasonably good storage place. So you park the car outside the unit and get out, and you can see that the unit is locked. There is a padlock through the little eye at the bottom of the garage door that you use to get in and out.
All right, I'm going to insert the key into the keyhole and turn.
Okay. When you do that, the lock opens up.
Okay, I want to remove the lock from the latch, and then using my hand, I want to lift the door such that I can enter.
The lock from the latch, it comes off. And
what are you doing with your other hand while this is happening?
Your other hand, I assume, is in your pocket.
Yeah, I know. It's still holding the gun.
Okay. So yeah, you get the door up, and you can see that there's actually a lot of shit in here, and right away, it's kind of alarming to you. So
wow, there's a lot of fecal matter in here.
In this storage container, you see, and I will publish this list to you.
Oh, good.
An antique table, a sofa bed, 2 plastic-wrapped twin mattresses, 3 biohazard containers, 2 bags of quicklime, 2 new shovels that still have like stickers on them from the hardware store, 4 pairs of work gloves, a hat lamp. It's like a flashlight that clips onto like a baseball cap. 14 quart-sized metal containers for gasoline, like just gas cans with pour spouts. 2 gallon-sized plastic gas containers. There are 3 keys taped together in a piece of cardboard sitting on top of that antique table. You see boxes and boxes also stacked on the table of shotgun ammunition. So it looks like it's all 12-gauge buckshot. 2 new Mossberg shotguns. Spread across one of the mattresses, you see a bunch of like fake driver's licenses and other like identification badges, including one as a Golden River gas inspector and another one as Golden River assistant county coroner.
Okay.
A high-end camera with a telephoto lens. Looks like a pad of paper that's got some writing on it. The remains of 24 burned photographs. And up against the wall of the unit, on top of cinder blocks, a crumbling 4-foot-long wooden coffin covered in dirt.
Wow.
Okay. Burying the lead. That seems a little more important.
So, just before we start, like, going into things, is it immediately obvious to me that any of the furniture that was at the beginning of the list is, like, of a set of the stuff that we saw in the garage?
No, it is not obvious.
Okay. So, I guess I'm going to make a beeline for that coffin.
Hey, put these gloves on.
Oh, yep. Good call.
Okay.
Whereas I want to make a beeline for that pad of paper.
Yeah, those are the 2 big ones.
Okay, so the coffin has a small plaque on the hasp that says Anton Ture, 1957 to 1966.
How is Ture spelled?
Ture.
Okay. I guess since I got my gloves on, you said it was like a 4-foot coffin?
Yep.
Okay. If I'm going to just like gently try to lift it, does it feel like there's, the coffin's in use?
There's something in it.
Okay. I guess I don't deal with coffins all that often. Or I don't know how easy they are to open after they've been shut, or if they're like sealed at all.
Well, this one appears to have been opened recently.
Well, it's about to be opened again.
You can see from where dirt is knocked off, and some of the outside is splintered. You can tell that it's been opened.
Okay. Well, I'm going to open it again. I'm going to brace myself for seeing a dead baby.
There are skeletal remains in here in funeral dress. It looks like it's a young boy.
Mm-hmm.
By the clothes, like you don't know. Yeah, it's a small skeleton, so you assume it's a child, and based on the name and the what they're wearing and stuff like that, you ascertain that this is a young boy.
Okay. Is there anything else in the coffin, or is it just a dead kid?
Just a dead kid.
Ugh. Okay. I grimace and close the coffin again.
Okay.
And we got we got a dead kid over here. What a weird thing to have in a storage unit. This is terrible. What do you got over there?
Engineers, am I right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'm looking at that pad and trying to ascertain what's going on with these burnt photos.
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to post the contents list into the Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, Donnelly's notes from the investigation is what it says, which is
excellent. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is coming
what I'm
directly
into.
out of the module, so, just play along.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so on one of the pieces of furniture, Redding sees that there's it looks like a page ripped off of a legal pad that has some stuff written on it. And here we go. I am posting these now and you can read them.
I will read it out loud.
For some reason in the Discord, like when I browse for a file, it shows all my folders, but they're not in alphabetical order.
Good.
It's probably like date edited or something.
Maybe.
Oh, it's okay. Gotcha.
All right. Hey, Tim, get a load of this. Here's the note. Ture equals not dead / roaming the house / only at night / grave. Shovel, gloves, headlamp, cash, ? Burn it. Crease. Crease tried, didn't work. Others. Talk to survivors. Canadian mental health. Something. Laws. Music from dining room. Laughter / noise upstairs. Someone else in the house. Someone not returning calls.
Yeah, I'm not able to figure out what that is either.
Falcone death? Like Carmine Falcone from Gotham City. Coroner. Wheeler furniture / books / papers. Estate. Talked to it tonight. Knew my name. Knows I'm watching it. Still no movement. Open house next week. Buy it. Burn it. Okay, so this is clearly about the Wheeler house.
Yeah, sounds like it. So he thinks that. So Ture is the nameplate on that coffin over there, which does in fact have a dead kid in it. So I don't know what he's getting at with not dead there.
He might mean that there's like a ghost or something.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't believe in that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It's the 90s, but...
It's the 90s, yeah.
I know you engineers are a superstitious bunch.
We did talk to survivors, Canadian mental health laws. We did read about... we know that there are a couple of people who lived in the house and then moved away.
Yeah.
So, interesting. He's... like music from the dining room, laughter and noise, and somebody else in the house. We did hear some weird things when we were there.
Sure, wind blowing and creaking and whatever.
Sure, yeah. I don't know if I didn't hear music.
Maybe you should buy this place. You need a bigger place.
That's true. I do need a bigger place.
And the value of the property should plummet.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably not worth very much with all the deaths that have happened in it.
Yeah, actually, I might buy it. I can sell some of my Enron shares. That should be more than enough.
Yeah, you don't want to sell those. Those are only going up.
That's true. They're going to the moon.
Okay.
But anyway, oh, sorry. Yeah. So at the end, he said, burn it or buy it. And clearly he ended up buying it.
Yeah.
And while he does have a lot of gas cans in here, the fact that it seemed like he was like spackling the place and doing some repairs suggests that he lost the desire to burn it. But then he did kill himself, which is kind of weird. So,
Yeah.
you know, what I'm saying is I don't really know what's going on. And I don't know what the it to which he refers in this document is.
Yeah, talked to it, and it knew his name.
I'll be honest. It seems like he was probably a little disturbed and was seeing things and hearing things that weren't there.
Yeah, it does kind of seem that way.
So it could be something as simple as this guy just wasn't well. And like he's clearly paranoid. He's got all these guns and everything else. And he's leading a double life. Doesn't even seem right. He's leading like a quintuple life with all these other like fake names and jobs. And I think this guy is just not well.
Yeah, it kind of
Which
seems
explains
that
why
way.
he killed himself.
The table and the sofa bed. Is the table just a straight table, or does it have any kind of, like, storage in it?
It's just a table.
Just a table.
It doesn't appear to have any drawers or anything like that.
Okay. So, other than the coffin, there's nothing that can be, like, opened in this unit. Everything's kind of just what it looks like.
Probably the gas cans, but they're probably
there
full of
are,
gas.
I mean, containers. So there are biohazard containers.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of.
it says they're empty, though.
I'm reading the description that says that they're empty.
Oh, right. Well, right. But you don't know that
okay.
unless you pick them up.
I guess I'm going to start looking through containers and just to see if I find anything that isn't immediately visually obvious.
Okay, so yeah, you start systematically working your way through everything in here, feeling around, picking things up to see if they're full, that kind of thing. And so you find that the biohazard containers are empty. The bags of quicklime are full, unopened. All of the gas cans are empty. The keys that were taped together on the table, you compare those to the key that you have for Spooner, and visually anyway, they appear to be the same. The shotguns, when you get to those, you can see that the serial numbers have been ground off.
Always a good sign.
These shotguns are really nice.
Yeah?
I'm not like that much of a gun guy, but yeah, these are pretty sweet.
I feel like we need to go back to the house.
Why?
Well, so he at least seemed to think that there was like something up at the house. I guess.
Yeah, but this dude was clearly disturbed.
Yeah, that's true.
So
He's crazy.
he also probably thought the government was watching him. And trust me, we're too lazy to do that.
Of course. Yeah, I don't know what this guy was thinking. He seems like he was losing his mind.
Yeah, the only time I'm going back to Spooner is for an open house to see whether I can buy the place. Because it's right next to the golf course.
It's true. It is. It's conveniently located.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I am curious though. Like I didn't know him that well, but he seemed like this doesn't match my professional interaction with him. You know, he didn't seem like he was off the wall crazy.
Well, sure, but that's probably he was like focused on tasks at work. You know, when the boredom set in, he would get all crazy. Didn't you say he would like go on trips and come back with like a broken arm and stuff like that?
Yeah,
like
he did get like weird injuries.
Yeah, so probably self-inflicted a lot of times. I'm saying this guy, he had problems.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd like each of you to make an alertness check.
An alert. Oh boy. Okay. What do
Let
I
me
got
roll
for-
my dice in my tray. That's a pass. That's a 13 on a 50.
Well, I only have 20 awareness. Let's see how this goes. Oh, I got a 5.
Okay, so the two of you are having this conversation. You're standing inside the unit, going through things, and you hear what sounds like a golf cart turn onto that row and head your way.
I peek outside.
It looks like the dude from the office is headed towards you.
Okay. I step outside and kind of wave at him.
He parks the golf cart right next to your car, doesn't get out, but looks in the unit at the two of you and goes, "Oh, what you got in there?"
Well, that's what we're working through right now. I kind of raise my eyebrow at him. What, is there something interest you?
I patrol the grounds every so often. You know, it's an important part of maintaining a goods facility.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, good job, I guess.
He squints and he looks in there and he says, "Is that a coffin?"
Yeah.
It's a prop.
It doesn't look like a prop.
It's a really good prop.
Make a persuade check.
Oh, good. Let's see. I have the baseline 20 persuade. I got a 27, so I fail.
Is there a body in that coffin?
Yep. Sorry about my friend. He just didn't want to alert or.
That's a violation of the policy here.
Policy.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm gonna have to ask you to remove that from the premises.
Yeah, okay. I'll call the boys in because I'm not equipped to do it right now.
I mean, you can't leave it here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. What do you want me to do? Carry it out? I didn't put it here, dude. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. You just keep doing your rounds.
Okay. And he starts up the golf cart and drives away.
Cool.
I'm glad he adheres to his own policy so much. He seems like he's a methodical caretaker of these grounds. So good for him. I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but think that given how large some of these climate-controlled units are, like, maybe you could just get one of these and live in there.
Oh, wow. What an
Yeah,
idea.
I'd be like one of those guys from Nikita. Great show, by the way. Yeah, and we're definitely getting to the point where, like, I've got to start telling people about some of this stuff, like, as opposed to it just being like kind of odd or like maybe suspicious. Now we've got like a legitimate case of there's a dead body, another dead body.
Now that there's a corpse in the storage unit, I think you probably need to feed that up the chain.
Yeah, so it's getting beyond my ability to justify to myself. As much as I love being a renegade cop, I can't really do that at this point. I need to get to a phone. If only I had a car phone, but I don't. Let's see. All right, let's lock up for now. I'm gonna take this paper and the photo remains with me. Bag them up.
Oh yeah. So the photos, they're burned. Is there anything we can get off of them, or is it just like beyond recognition?
Are you asking me or?
So taking a look at those, you can see that some of them are just burned beyond recognition. Some of them, though, the rest of them appear to be pictures taken from in different parts of the house across different periods of time, but they all feature the house at Spooner Ave.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I'll put those in the bag as well, or a separate bag. And then I want to take some like police tape, like I've got a roll of it in my trunk with my forensic stuff, and just kind of like put it over the door. So it's marked like, hey, we're investigating this. Don't go in.
Gotcha.
And then I'm like, all right, Tim, let's go. I'll tell you what. You take this, and I hand him one of the copies that I made of the journal. I'm gonna drop you off wherever, home or something, and then I'm gonna organize the boys to come out here and to the apartment and start looking at this stuff.
How about drop me off at my bike's at the precinct. Drop me off at the precinct. I'll head to the library, and then whatever I find in the journal, I can follow up on.
Okay, sure. Let's go. Are we able to get out? Or does the gate bar our path? No, we don't have the coffin with us.
It's on my back.
Yes, you are able to get out. There's just a button on the other side of the gate that you have to push. So you roll down your window and push the button, and the gate opens.
Okay. Then we do that, and we're heading back to the station.
Okay. All right, you are back at the station.
All right, Tim, get on your bike and get moving.
I'm out. I'm bouncing.
So I'm bringing in the evidence that I brought with me, and then I've got
Which is what?
Well, the evidence I've got with me is the piece of paper and the photos, the things I could bag at the time. But I'm gonna go over to. There should be some like sergeant that I should be able to talk to. That's going to be able to organize the boys to go out to the locations that I mentioned and.
Yeah, there is. So what are you telling?
Hey, so I've got 2 locations on this Donnelly suicide case. So it's his apartment and his storage container, and we found a lot of weird stuff in there. Mostly unregistered firearms, and there's a body in the storage container. Old body, died in like the 60s, I think. But so I need the boys to go bag and tag that stuff and start looking around for fingerprints and stuff like that.
He raises an eyebrow at you and says, all right, yeah, well, yeah, as soon as everybody's back from lunch, then we'll head over and we'll get both locations and we'll start cataloging everything.
It's 10:15.
4-hour lunch break.
And if we do it right now, we'll miss lunch.
Okay, fair enough. Here's the addresses, and here I hand him the key to the unit. Here's the storage unit. It's up at Golden Dash River. Store it.
Oh, okay. You're sure it's not Golden River Store Dash It?
I mean, I'm sure it's written differently in different places, but anyway, you know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Great. I'm gonna take a lunch as well. I grab my copy of the journal and I go over to O'Shamrock's. I don't know if it's open yet.
Well, yeah, 10:15. They open at 10 o'clock. So.
Okay, great.
It's always open because they know that at any time you could show up and you're going to spend money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over to O'Shamrock's and I'm gonna grab a couple beers, maybe 5 or 6. Not all at once, because then they'd get warm.
Right. So you see O'Shamrock's, Tim, putting the beers into the triangle, and you're like, no.
Can I get an ice bucket or something?
He pulls out. He has a triangle-shaped ice bucket.
Oh wow. Okay.
Thanks, Tab.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna like grab a booth or something. I'm gonna start reading through the journal as well while I wait for the boys to.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna take them all day to do all that other stuff.
Now, are both of you there, or is it just Simon?
I'm at the library, but I'm also reading through the journal.
Okay.
After I hit
So it's just cutting between us
librarian.
back and forth, where like the camera's circling, and then like when it passes behind my head, now it transitions
perfect,
to passing behind his. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cut together with me trying to,
Well,
impress
actually,
the cute librarian.
Yeah, the way I want to do it is it's Simon finally cracks open his first beer and the camera like descends into the journal, and then the story is told through like sepia toned like kind of flashbacks.
Okay.
And then the camera rises up out of that into the library where Tim is looking at the scans.
I see.
So here is what the two of you read. And there's a lot of stuff here. This takes you hours. So some of this you already know. Some of it's going to be new or different. The house on Spooner Avenue was built in 1907 by Michael Wheeler, who was a mason. So he was a dashing young man. He charmed his way into a lucrative position cutting gravestones for nearby communities. He then expanded and started doing specialty stonework like gargoyles, marble cutting, tiles, monuments, stuff like that. So Isabel and Michael married in 1905, and they were sort of a socialite couple. But in 1906, Isabel took sick. It was an ailment that they never were able to get successfully diagnosed, but it robbed her of the use of her legs. And as the illness progressed, it started racking her body with spasms and convulsions. But despite her being the unhealthy one between the two of them, Michael was struck in the head and killed by a piece of marble when he was building the town hall in Golden River in 1910. So that's 5 years after they married, 4 years after she got sick, 3 years after they built the house on Spooner Avenue. Isabel continued living in the house, and Michael's success up to that point had left them with quite a lot of money. So she didn't need to try to figure out a way to work, and she didn't need to be committed to a facility. But she's still living with this disease. And at some point, she hired a woman named Adele DiVitello, and she was hired by Wheeler to re-sew the drapes in all the rooms in the house. But then she started to spend a lot of time there. And a lot of the other help and a lot of the neighborhood did not like Adele Di Vitello. So the journal describes that neighbors referred to her as the crone, and that part of the reason why people didn't like her was that she had been working as a seamstress at a nearby sanitarium, but was fired for practicing witchcraft, and was generally shunned. She was a foreigner, and she's an older Italian woman. So she gets hired by Isabel Wheeler and stays on long past resewing the drapes. She gets to the point where she's at the house all the time, and eventually is living at the house. And Isabel is cured mysteriously. Like one day she's just better and is walking around.
Does it have a date for that?
It's sometime in the summer of 1926.
26.
And the diary doesn't explain clearly like what happened to cause this, or not at that point in the diary anyway. So locals start asking a lot of questions. Pets missing and then turning up dead. Odd men showing up at odd times of night, and in particular, like people who are clearly Italian, coming into and out of the house, which is very unusual for this area. So this sort of like weirdness and suspicion continues surrounding the house. And what you begin to read as the diary progresses is descriptions of what exactly Di Vitello was up to. So the diary claims that she was very, very old, like well over 100 years old, although she didn't appear that way. The diary starts to describe some kind of compact with, and it refers to this character alternatingly as L'Uomo Nero, or the Dark Man, and that essentially what Isabel Wheeler had to do to be freed from her illness was to write her name in his black book, among other things. So the book, or the diary, ends in a description of a ritual of some kind, which I will describe to you. Hold on.
Very spooky. Does Tim's skin crawl a little bit when he reads the Dark Man?
Yeah, you're going to need to make a sand check once I describe this
That's
ritual.
gone well for me so far, so...
Loses 12 sanity. Starts freaking out. The librarian lady has to come over and physically restrain you.
Okay. So there's an elaborate ritual described at the end of the book to call the Dark Man. So it looks like some significant amount of life must be offered to him over a period of many years on the nights of the new moon. So animals, animals of various sizes are described. Normally the bigger, the better. And all of those sacrifices must be made with a bronze bowl and a knife.
Sounds familiar.
At least 2 supplicants must be present and ready to offer their lives to the Dark Man if he appears. Although this is imperfect, sometimes he does not appear. But this seems like a very laborious and long process. Like she describes the 2 of them doing this for many, many years at a time before he finally showed up. There is also an accelerated version of the ritual that guarantees an appearance by the Dark Man, and that's performing, instead of a long series of animal sacrifices, a single human sacrifice. And it looks like this could be either used to summon him or to deconsecrate the ground and dismiss him forever.
Yeah, man, people in the early 20th century were crazy about all this occult stuff. This is just stupid.
So I need each of you to make a sand check, because this is all written out over a period of decades. So
Shit.
not only does a lot of this sound true, It just like it doesn't seem like she was insane. But it's like really really odd and fucked up, dude. So
What does a 0? Is that a crit success or a crit fail?
I think it's a crit
that
success.
is no, a 0 is a crit fail.
Yeah, okay, I crit failed.
Okay.
Right, because this is what we got wrong
Oh, okay.
before, where a 0 is 100.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So I also failed. I got an 83 regular fail.
Okay. I don't even know what you do for a crit fail.
So I think on a crit fail, you just take the maximum.
Yeah. All right. So this
Yay.
is another 1d4.
Cool. I lose 4. I'm almost at my breaking point.
Yeah, you're already close to your breaking point after 2 sand checks.
Yep.
Right. So
I rolled a
what's going
1.
on with Tim? Right. So I guess two different scenes here. One is Simon is on his 6th beer by the time he's finishing this document, and he kind of thinks like, weird.
I get like a
And-
chill, but it's just like a passing thing. I'm like, yeah, these weirdos. Like they as soon as they can find some weird explanation for why someone got better, they're like, oh, well, I must do blood sacrifices. Just weirdos.
Whereas Tim he's in the library. He's got stacks of other documents. He's been looking at old newspapers and stuff like that. And you very badly want not to believe in this, but all of the details seem to check out.
You're one of those scientists who like can't apply scientific discipline to anything other than your specific area of expertise.
Yep. No, I'm not happy. Got my head in my hands. Like, fuck. So,
The librarian tells you to shush.
yeah, I mean, whatever. So, I want to get my hands on this bowl again. The bowl and the knife.
It's locked up.
Yeah, I know.
It's in evidence.
So I'm thinking, like, is there an indication that they did the human version? Because it sounds like we know that they did the animal version.
Ture is dead.
Yeah, but was he sacrificed,
You don't know.
Okay.
You remember Simon telling you, based on the research he had done, or between the two of you, that Anton Ture, his cause of death was listed as drowning in the house.
So possible.
We've all been there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Does the Dark Man, does that match with any like local legends that we've heard of, or is that kind of a new thing for us?
It matches the
that's
end
new.
table.
Yeah, but
It does seem to match the end table, but yeah, that's new to you.
okay.
Yeah, it's probably all just infrasound.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I'm trying to think while I'm at the library if there's anything that I can follow up on from this. The Adele Divitello, she was fired from the sanitarium for witchcraft. And I guess that
Yes.
matches with what we, everything else that we read. Obviously, she's practicing some dark arts. Was there anybody? That's probably not fruitful. I don't know. I really just want to go back to the house and see if I can. I am now convinced that, when we were at the house and I heard somebody calling my name, and then it turned out to not be Simon. And then he mentioned some other things that he dismissed as the house having personality. I am now convinced that there is something going on in that house, and I want to go back there.
Nice.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, I guess, can I guess that he's at O'Shamrocks right now?
You can guess.
Okay, because I don't think we talked about where he was going, but it seems like a safe bet for Simon. I'm gonna bike over to O'Shamrocks.
Okay. So when you get there, you walk in, and right now it's like 3:00 in the afternoon. So there are not a lot of other people in O'Shamrocks.
All right, I'm just gonna slide into. Are you at the bar? Or are you a booth guy?
I'm at the
in a
booth
booth.
because I'm reading.
Good. Okay, so I'm gonna slide into the booth. Dude, did you have you gotten through this yet?
Yeah.
This is insane.
Well, yeah. I mean, it seems like this Isabel character. She was looking for an explanation, and she found one with this weird nurse lady. But I mean, I don't know.
You don't You don't believe it?
No, of course not.
I mean, it all kind of checks out though, right?
What checks out? What are you talking
I know,
about?
it just seems, it seems very consistent. It doesn't seem like if she were crazy, I would have expected to find more holes in the narrative, but it's all, aside from like magic not really seeming like a thing that exists, like she seems like she believed this really hard, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people believe a lot of crazy things. Have you met my family?
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There might actually be something to this. I don't know.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, no, okay.
Listen to yourself.
I don't know.
You're talking about magic and a haunted house, and listen, we've got a case of two people who were very disturbed. Isabel, back in the day, and your boss more recently. Okay, they got some weird ideas in their head or something about this house being haunted or about some dark man or whatever, and then it got too much for Arthur, who's clearly paranoid, and he killed himself. That's all there is to it.
I don't know. This just doesn't seem right to me.
I mean, I know this is a lot for you to deal with because you're busted up on this being a guy you knew or something, but people are always looking for more meaning with this stuff, and a lot of times, most of the time, there just isn't. He was disturbed, and he killed himself. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. I feel like I gotta go back to that house.
Yeah, that's probably a really bad idea.
Maybe. Still doing it though.
Well, if you do, you'll be breaking in.
No, we got keys. We have so many keys.
No, I have keys.
Yeah, that's true. There's a broken window.
Don't go back in that house.
Oh, okay. So what's your plan? What are you gonna follow up on?
We're gonna turn in the evidence, which I've already got the boys working on from the apartment and the storage container. And then I'm gonna write my report about how Arthur was paranoid and was disturbed and was seeing ghosts, and then he killed himself. And then that's another case solved.
Yeah, solved for sure. I don't know. It doesn't. That's not a satisfying conclusion to me.
Yeah. Well, tough luck. This ain't a TV show. There are no satisfying conclusions.
All right. I think we need to keep digging.
Listen, you're free to do so, and if you find something interesting, great. But I've got a pile of cases that I need to work on, and I can't spend all my time chasing ghosts.
Okay. Well, can you at least give me a key?
No. That's still a crime scene.
Tim is considering how he can continue. If Simon's not going to follow up on it, it's got to be Tim, and Tim's got to get back in that house. I guess I am going to have to break in. All right, Tim has made up his mind. He's going to chase this down because he does not believe that it's just people being crazy and that's all it is.
Yeah. Well, they'll tell me about it.
Yeah, and he's got to find a way to convince Simon that there's more to this.
For the first time ever, the chief was actually completely right. This is a suicide, and there's not much else to it.
You're wrong, I think.
Yeah, well, one of us is detective, and the other one is you, so.
Well, I guess I'll just have to change your mind.
Yeah, I'll see you for our next golf game on Saturday.
Yeah, you got it. I'm gonna blow your mind. Probably even before then, with all the new stuff I find. You'll see.
Can't wait.
I'm walking away.
If I pull up to you committing a crime because someone called 911, I'm gonna pretend like I don't know you.
That's fair. All right, I'm hopping on my bike and going back to the house.
Okay, and I'll pause you there. What is Simon doing?
Simon's gonna get a stick of gum so he can go back to the office. And he's gonna, the boys haven't even started packing up the scene, but I'm gonna start writing out my report to kind of close this out, leaving some space to, for like an appendix where I talk about all the evidence we've, collected, all the firearms and everything else. But I'm ready to close this one out and hand in the report to the chief as soon as I can, do the final bit once they get all the stuff collected.
So actually, when you get back to the station, you can see that the sergeant is coming in, and he has like a group of guys with him with a small truck, and they're like handling things, putting them on carts, and bringing them into the evidence locker.
I check my watch. I'm like, oh man, that's faster than I thought.
Well, I mean, you talked to him like 6 hours
Yeah, it took
ago.
us a while to go through the diary, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I've been at O'Shamrock for longer than I
yes,
thought.
it's been a bit.
So the sergeant looks at you and says, didn't you say something about a body or something?
Yeah, I was in a coffin in the storage container.
The, like, 2230?
Yeah, 22. There should have been police tape up at it.
Yeah. I mean, there was tape, but, we didn't see there's no body in there.
There was a coffin in the corner. It was like a little kid's coffin for a kid named Touré.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. We found, and he flips open his notebook and he says, like some empty gas cans and a table and a sofa bed.
Did you find the shotguns? Were the shotguns?
No.
Okay, this is not good. So,
by the way, like, why did you leave it unlocked?
I didn't. Okay, so we've got to put out an APB for the security guard for the Golden River store. He passed by when we were going through it, so I'm thinking it wasn't me. It must have been him.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, we'll drive out there and talk to him.
Yeah. So the guy I talked to, in case you find someone else, he was a little Danny DeVito looking guy.
Yeah. I mean, we talked to him too. He's the one who let us in.
Okay. Yeah. So he was the one. I'm guessing it was him. He when he drove by, he saw there was a coffin and was talking about violations to the store it code and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go talk to him. Maybe bring him in if that's what it takes. But yeah, I get it. You didn't find something that said was there too.
Oh, okay.
So,
oh boy.
We haven't done that yet.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna head over there. I've got the keys. So
to the apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stake the place out just in case someone's after this guy's stuff.
Yeah, just keep your radio on you. We'll let you know when we find something.
Got it. I'll see you guys there eventually. And I'm gonna hop back in my car, make sure my radio's all charged up, and head over to the apartment.
Okay. So you've been here before. You know exactly where to go. He's up on the 6th floor, and when you get to his apartment, you see the camera and the little red light is off.
Uh-oh.
LOL.
I'm gonna go in.
Okay. You go to undo the deadbolts, and none of them are locked.
Great. Okay, I head in. I draw my weapon, and I head in.
Okay, you draw your weapon, you head in, you head down the hall, and it looks like most of the stuff is still there, but the incriminating stuff, like the unregistered handguns and the ammo and the like coveralls and stuff like that he had for different organizations that he's not actually a part of. All of that stuff is gone.
Dang, the stakes. All right, I get on the radio immediately and try to hit up the sergeant.
Okay. Yeah, so he responds. You want to do some cool radio talk?
Yeah, if only we knew like the brevity codes for police work. I got a 20 on.
Yeah, so anyway, you radio him. He says,
Sarge, this is Redding, over.
Yeah, this is Sergeant Dean. Go ahead.
Hey, Sarge, I'm at the apartment for the Vic that we were talking about earlier. Someone's come and cleaned this place out. Door was unlocked when I got here, and all the incriminating evidence is gone.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know anything about that. I can tell you that I'm here with Mr. Miglia, the proprietor of the Golden Dash River Storage, and he says that after the two of you left, another group of policemen arrived and said that they were here to sort the scene out.
I see. Hey, does he have any footage? Is there a security camera? Does he have a log? Anything like that?
No, we just asked about it. No cameras. He said he's real big on privacy.
Great.
He said they were driving a dark SUV. They came in, and he asked if they needed a key or anything. They said they were good to go, and they left about 20 minutes later. That's it.
What agency?
he said they just said they were police and they showed him a badge. Between you and me, he doesn't really know much about, about law enforcement. So he said he thought they were local, but they didn't say they were, FBI or anything.
Right. All right, this is getting bad. Okay. I guess no need to bring him in. He's not going to know anything.
No, I don't think he can help us anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the boys need to get over here in case for fingerprints. Chances are they didn't leave any, but we shouldn't leave any stone
That's the
unturned.
thing, and we're doing the same thing over here, but so far, nothing.
Sure.
Whoever did this was wearing gloves.
Yeah. No, obvious pros, but okay. Well, I guess this case isn't quite solved just yet. Ugh. All right. And
All
then
right.
I put the radio away. Reading out.
And with that, we'll switch over to Tim Bars. So it's about 4 p.m. You have biked and arrived at 1206 Spooner Ave. There are, you can see that there's activity in the neighborhood. There are other people going about their day, but the house itself is empty. There's still tape over the door. The window is still broken upstairs, and you are able to. You just bring your bike and walk up past the privacy hedges into the yard. What do you want to do?
So there's tape on the front door. Is there tape on the back door?
You went in the back door previously, and there wasn't then.
Yeah. We didn't put any up, and nobody's been here since,
Right.
I guess. Is it still unlocked?
Do you want to try it?
Yeah.
Are you wearing gloves?
Sure am. Learned my lesson.
Okay. Yeah, you put your gloves on and you try it, and Shepard, did Simon lock up last time?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the door's locked.
He's relatively thorough with his police work.
Okay, I guess I'll try to... I don't have a key, right? We established that. I didn't get any of the spares.
Right.
I guess I'll... I don't know how to pick locks, so I might just be kind of stuck here.
Okay. So
Well,
yeah, you're like
quit just like
walking
that.
around the outside of the house, looking in, there's not a whole lot going on, and then you after a few minutes of circling the house and thinking about this, you try the back door again, and it's unlocked.
That's... So, how confident am I that I...
Glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, like,
give me-
am I sitting there thinking, oh, that's weird? Or am I going like, no, I know for a fact that it was locked 5 minutes ago?
Give me a sanity check.
Oh, good.
You pulled the handle down when you tried before. You pulled it up this time. You know.
Oh,
It was a handle last time. It was a knob this time.
well, it's not a crit fail, but it's still a fail.
You're gonna hit your breaking point.
Yeah.
Session 3.
Okay, so it's just 1 point of sand loss.
All right, I am 1 away from my breaking point.
You thought you had tested it. Maybe it's an old house. I don't know. Maybe it's been kind of a weird couple of days.
Okay.
But it's not locked. Simon must have forgotten.
All right. I kind of shake my head and then open the door, walk in.
Okay. Yeah. So it looks exactly the same as it did when you were here yesterday. Mostly empty. It's very normal looking. It's kind of echoey, just because there's no furniture in here to soak up any of the noise. And other than the odd chair or things like that are kind of pushed off to the side, there's nothing here. And so as you walk across the wood floors, there's a lot of creaking. This is an old house.
So I never went upstairs. I'm going to go kind of look at all the stuff that I didn't see the first time I was here. I'm going to go into I'm going to see what Simon saw.
Okay. So you walk up. It's a narrow staircase, and it takes you up to this one room. It's almost like I think they're called like a widow's walk. You know about these? They're like common in New England seaside towns, and the idea is like wives would be able to like stand up there and look out towards the sea and see if their husbands were coming home. But the room up here it's smallish. It's octagonal kind of, and it has windows all around it, and window seats arranged around the room. And then in the center of the room, there is a rocking chair.
Okay.
Is it tipped on its side?
That's the way you left it, right?
Yeah.
It is not tipped on its side.
Was it mentioned to me, or do I
No.
remember? Yeah, okay, so that means nothing to me.
But it does to the audience.
Oh my god. So I'm gonna take a seat, I guess, and just kind of consider my next move here, because I was so like, I got to get to the house, and now I'm here, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm actually doing here. So I'm gonna pop a squat in that rocking chair.
So you do, and you rock back and forth and kind of think, like, what's next? What can you do? And you're not really sure, but you definitely think that if you just spend some time here, you'll figure it out.
Okay.
That's the only thing you're really sure of, is that now that you're here, it makes sense to stay here.
Makes sense. Checks out.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna, with this place being now vacant, does it still have power, or have they already cut that off?
It still has power.
Okay. Utilities haven't been terminated yet.
No.
So yeah, I guess I'm gonna start making plans here. I am going to spend the night in this house and just see what I can see.
You're gonna rock the night away in that chair?
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm kicking myself. If I thought about it, I would have grabbed like a sleeping bag, but whatever. I can hack it on the floor for a night.
And I think that's actually a good spot to end tonight's session.
Yeah, boy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Gonna spend the night in a spooky haunted house.
I mean, we don't know that it's haunted.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
true. It could be anything. Yeah.
you're the weirdo who believes that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for playing session 3 of Golden River Underground.
Kind of a bad way
Late
to
Afternoon
end
gaming,
the campaign.
Delta Green campaign.
You said this would be the final episode.
Perhaps.
Yeah. What a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Tune in next time, if there even is one.
Uh-oh.
We'll find out what's in
That's
that
a
house.
cliffhanger.
And Simon's gonna get his brain blown.
Uh-oh. Sounds
Yeah.
violent.
One way or another.
One way or another.